Brian McCree alongside Adam Bobrow here to take you through the action, the finale here, a fitting finale to a groundbreaking week for the sport.
You know, one of the things that has me most excited about this match is Tomokazu Harimoto seems to be playing like he's back in action, and Lin Gaoyuan also seems to be unstoppable at this point. Go back edge here. But I mean, the way Lin Gaoyuan has handled everybody so far, he's smooth, he seems effortless, he seems very sort of clear in his choices.
And pushes really deep there, fast to the Harimoto forehand.
Well, the long push coming in, right, seemed like it should have bothered Lin Gaoyuan, and again, a smooth shot that showed no concern. He was just so confident. The World Tour Grand Finals, what, 2018?
Yes, one of Harimoto's 2 victories over Lin, because the Chinese has a couple himself over the Japanese. But it was significant, wasn't it? I mean, Adam, you were there. It's part of the rivalry here between the two. In Incheon, of course, in the semis, he beat him 4-1. Harimoto beat Lin that week, became the youngest ever winner in the process of the Grand Finals. I think 15 years, 172 days old at the time, Harimoto.
When you have 1.4 billion passionate fans just counting on you to deliver, I mean, the entire squad, there were so many top Chinese men there, and the last standing Chinese man, just like here, was Lin Gaoyuan. So I think he knows what it's like to be under pressure in this sort of way and is going to do everything he can to adjust. Off to a good start so far.
Yep, 6 of the first 8 for the Dark Knight.
The Japanese fans trying to compete, making themselves heard though.
Really looking here to pin that Harimoto forehand, go there wherever possible then.
It's the difference in wrist flexibility between Lin Gaoyuan and pretty much every opponent he's played.
One caught the tape on the way through, but nothing stopping this start from Lin Gaoyuan.
Harimoto's really going to have to play some risks. He's trying out here. He's trying for these quick abbreviated strokes through the middle. It's that laser tag cool dress that glows in the dark that we've seen for the last few matches, or I guess other match today. Finally, a human moment for Lin Gaoyuan after casually blocking a powerful shot from Harimoto.
Underlining that start that Lin's made, putting huge pressure on the service of Harimoto. Serves long there as well. There's the variation to surprise the Japanese. 7 game points for Lin. And he only needs the 1. That's the sort of performance he's put together time and again this week, and that opening game, more of it from the Dark Knight. Yeah, there's utter respect from the Chinese national team set up towards Tomokazu Harimoto. The victories he's had over their elite competitors, they know what he's capable of. that fast long serve again, and it does surprise Harimoto again.
Well, that's a huge factor, I think, against any opponent, as we saw in the last match, the women's singles final. Surprise factor a must.
Fantastic rally, and the Dark Knight takes it again.
When you watch him playing shots like this time and time again, it seems tough to imagine how he could possibly be beaten in this match. Drills it into the middle and as wide as can be. That's the signature toe sweep turn. It's such a rock star move.
12 of the last 16. Now Harimoto back. A big time play.
A lot of the fans have been very creative with their edits of different footage. I hope someone takes all of those sweeping turns where his toe drags and sort of edit in an electric guitar to his hands. That was a chop block from Tomokazu Harimoto. I can't recall the last time I've seen that happen.
Yeah, I thought I saw it yesterday in the semi-finals because it was a fanning backhand, but that, no doubt, is a chopper.
Wow. Bottom of the net on the way back. Harimoto's got a lot of skills. I didn't expect to see a chop block out of him.
Let 3-0.
More commonly associated with very creative players.
3-4.
Backhand there, coming around into the forehand side. That's Harimoto. One of his stock plays there. So strong.
Yeah, that used to be one of the key ingredients for why players had trouble, his inside-the-table game. But here, a good serve, well placed. Really sort of handcuffs Harimoto on the receive, forces him to slow down this backhand. So he spins here for security. And then that fast backhand that looks so effortless. Ooh, yeah, direct eye contact. Please, yes, and thank you. Some combination of those words, but we'd love to see more of that.
That was clever, just teasing it up there over the table. He's a smart player, isn't he? So light on his feet, changes of pace of Gaoyuan as well.
I think you called him the golden hand, right?
Yeah.
Sure showing it out here in that touch game.
And again. So smart.
Right, this one, even though it's just a little bit higher, the distance it takes to get there around the corner, I mean, you could see what a struggle it was. Harimoto's definitely not the hesitant type on his feet. He was quite quick and still couldn't get there.
His hands, the golden hands are glittering like his shirt right now. Gleaming.
Let 7-4.
He just seems at a loss in this moment. Harimoto really looking for some answers.
There's one.
5-7.
Trails by 2 at the tail break.
Now this we see from underdogs quite a bit. When someone's playing so consistently and so strong, it's almost like an injured player. Just try and shorten up the rally. Make that first attack really count. When you get just an inch, just go for the kill and get prepared in case you have to do it again. There's Arsha, who's in the national team jersey yesterday. It's cool you can get some neat swag here. Good surprise factor on this one. He's got Gaoyuan set up on the opposite side and says, you know what, I've got to take the risk and play the short side of the table. Gonna have to be a lot more of that risk factor from Harimoto here. I thought that caught the back edge of the table. I mean, maybe we'll see again, but that just goes to show you how intense these rallies are. Yeah? Well, it appeared that way, but Chole.
It was a thunderbolt through the middle.
Mm.
And again, so strong. I mean, he hasn't got the build of Bruce Wayne, But in terms of his what he's bringing at the table here, Lin, that's his heavyweight stuff.
I was thinking back through all the Batmans, and I was like, I wonder. Yeah, even Michael Keaton was thicker than Lin Gaoyuan.
Misses the flick this time, and he's slipping into trouble here, Harimoto, in this final now. In grave danger of going 2 down. 4 game points for Lin.
Good setup for that forehand flick to save a game point. He's got to be very, very specific on those tight serves to earn himself that third ball attack, especially with the golden hand on the other side.
Such a quality receive to set the seal on another superb second game from Lin Gaoyuan. 2 up now on Tomokazu Harimoto here.
It's time for Chinese player.
The stance, how wide the feet are apart.
There we go. That's how intent and aggressive he's been through the week, Harimoto. Need much more of that from his point of view.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be, well, one of the best, if not the only chance he has to really get in this match. 2 in a row here. Inside the table, that forehand flick. Again, first opportunity, he's going to make the most of it. Until Lin Gaoyuan shows that he has trouble in the short game. Well, I mean, that's, I guess, what the serve is doing here from Harimoto, setting up any little advantage he can get. And the tight serves are working well so far. A few good points.
Yeah, now it's Harimoto's Chos ringing out around the Infinity Arena. And a change up again, into the backhand side of Harimoto. So fast and long from Lin.
That was a very surprising serve. You could see the passive receive that Harimoto gave there. Quickly had to backpedal. We saw him shaking his head. Harimoto knows that once the rally gets open like that, unless Lin Gaoyuan is behind the table and on the chase, it's just not going to favor Harimoto.
Yeah, as you said, Adam, he needs to keep the points short. We've seen that through his career. Harimoto at his best when he can finish in a flash.
I can't say this about everybody, but both of these two have had the chance to play, and Lin Gaoyuan's backhand has so much side spin on it. The arc of the ball, it's incredibly tough to stay passive in a blocking game. So while Harimoto can actually extend rallies against a lot of players if he needed to, against Lin Gaoyuan right now, the quality of the ball is just too tough to hang in for. But back to the recipe that works for Harimoto, the quick pressure early on for the point.
Yeah, basically the strategy there over the table is to take a cleaver to it. Harimoto. There's no holding back there, is there? This is out there. Muscles through the forehand there. For once, draws an error from Lin. Good placement as well.
Funny, these are two of the most vocal players in the men's game if you look back a handful of years, but Lin Gaoyuan has quieted down quite a bit.
What a counter.
Yeah, that's really tough to recover from. Hey, the Dark Knight posters! I love them! It's so cool what the Chinese fans do. Funny, it wasn't 100, but it was still enough pressure early on in the rally. Let's see the serve here. Under and side spin, gets a slower spinny ball. Still a relatively low trajectory there, but Harimoto confident. Hello.
So keen to try and force it here more and more, Harimoto.
Think he has to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's just going to be responding to Lin Gaoyuan, and he's going to have his hands on the steering wheel the whole time. Those golden hands.
8, 6.
Still a lead of 1, but considering what's happened in this third game for Harimoto, desperate to stay in front. He's been in front large parts of the third. He does stay in front there.
7, 9.
Wills through that particular point, the Japanese.
This is potentially the turning point in the match. 2 points up here, Harimoto. If he can take this game, he's going to have some confidence. It's going to add pressure to someone who's had some trouble dealing with it in the past. Ooh, faint edge.
Yes.
7, 10.
Edge for Harimoto. It takes him now to 3 game points.
Stop. Seven, 10.
Smooth as you like.
Yeah, what a creamy shot there off the golden hands of Lin Gaoyuan, the Dark Knight. Fast backhand, and it comes back just as low to the net. It looked like Harimoto almost had his fist clinched already. Understandably so after a receive like that.
Second game point.
This is no Harimoto zone to be back there right now. And a timeout called. He's going to look for any way he can to get in right at the beginning of the point.
So timeout requested by Harimoto.
Didn't work out there. We've seen that construction, that point construction, several times already, and Lin has invariably come out on top of it. So 3 game points have come and gone. Now we have the need here for a 2 clear point winning margin to take the game. The serve now, those of you not aware, will rotate 1 each till we have a conclusion to the game. Oh, he found the outside edge under the biggest pressure there, Harimoto, and he delivered.
Yeah, this is not the position he wants to be in. He had his back against the ropes. He's way behind the table, really took his chances, and that was a rocket backhand. Placement had to be just perfect.
4th game point. Denied again.
11, 4.
It's really an outstanding receive. And it just goes to show you that if the serve drifts just a centimeter too long or long enough, at this level, the receiver will take advantage.
Yeah, life at the top table, as you say. Played at the margins. Played in terms of fractions. And is this a telling moment? I know it's best of 7. It's not terminal for Harimoto, but he's had 4 game points. This would be a wounder if he were to lose this game here, you feel. Game point for Lin.
This is the serve that I thought I would see out of the timeout, and I think what Harimoto was trying to do in the last point, in terms of depth, he kept it inside the table. I guess the risk is, will Lin Gaoyuan come in and try to Chiquita? Will he get him with the backhand over the forehand side? With the low serve, wide enough to the forehand at the right length, it's natural to go passively, as Lin Gaoyuan just did. Well played, Harimoto.
He's away from the table, but he's still the one on top there.
Harimoto did a good job of looking for the moment, just slowing the ball down there. But in the end, he never really found the moment to capitalize and come back in.
Yeah, he's outside of his comfort zone there, though, playing that sort of point, Harimoto, and he's in trouble again here. Second game point for Lin. There's the flick that you were mentioning, Adam, and there is the third game. He saves 4 game points along the way, and is that the key moment in this final here in Budapest? The Dark Knight moves 3 clear.
Have you ever seen Lin Gaoyuan chop? The difference between a chop and the push, for those of you newer to the game, push is inside the table underspin, but a chop is a full stroke from behind the table. A Sehyo Wan-like shot. It's funny, the conversation with Liu Hung in the corner, I imagine, was about the receive that he played passively from the baseline. Encouragement to flick if you need to. But if you feel handcuffed, that the serve is too well placed, don't be afraid to flick with your forehand as well.
0-3.
This is a big point for me in the confidence tank of Lin Gaoyuan. Obviously, being 3-0 up, you wouldn't think that he'd have too much in terms of problems with confidence, but the scoreline from the start could be intimidating. Harimoto still on a mission to take his chances. Even though he misses that shot, it just goes to show you how far he's willing to push and take risks right now. This time it pays off, slight adjustment, and it seems like everything goes to plan from the point before.
Lead of 2 at the first towel break for Harimoto as he tries to begin the long haul back. In terms of long hauls, I suppose it is like Budapest to Tokyo. Probably feel like that, but you've got to start somewhere on the journey.
As we saw there in the corner, they're dead even in the last 32 points. They've been completely back and forth. Yet, Lin Gaoyuan leads 3-0. Interesting.
Let 2-5.
That lead up to 4 for Harimoto. And these serves, of course, to come as well to try and augment the advantage.
Well, these players aren't out here alone. My imagination just got to work after a score line that would potentially could be quickly recovered. But if Harimoto won this game and went on to win this match, I don't think there's any chance of Olympics ever for Lin Gaoyuan. I still am doubtful.
3-7.
But it would just be it would be heartbreaking for Lin Gaoyuan fans and for Lin Gaoyuan himself. But for a player with some points to gain quickly in the world rankings, Harimoto would be climbing.
Oh, it's regal in its quality and its nature there from Lin.
I could just hear the production room going, whoa, after watching that point. Lin Gaoyuan, even behind the table, the featherweight just flies over. Out in front, look at the wide stance. Look how far apart his feet are. My groin hurts just looking at that. Jeez. Only a 2-point game now. That was a big one, a much-needed point to get the mojo, or Harimoto.
Oh, round. Beautifully and easily to flick that away.
He's done this on both sides of the table now. We've seen him step around the backhand corner for the forehand, and that wide out on the forehand corner for the backhand. Exchange rate still acceptable right now for Harimoto to take this game.
Oh, hung in right off the reverse, off the service. He's doing so much good stuff here, Harimoto. Is he about to get some tangible reward here? 4 game points. He does. He's back into this final. The Japanese sensation, 11-6. 3-1 now for Lin Gaoyuan here. And Lin Gaoyuan still in the box seat. Those 1,000 points. 3-1. And a razor-sharp start here. This 5th game from the Chinese.
That's a devastating combination. Punishes Harimoto for starting to creep in over that forehand side. Says, no, go back there. Go back to where you came from, that backhand corner.
Livid with himself, just gesturing Harimoto there. The backhand not to his liking. He's finding halfway up the net.
2-0.
And there is belief there from Harimoto. Extremely evident that he can do this. Still a long way back, but anything is possible, of course, on this Infinity Arena.
You know, it's funny, I was looking back at their head-to-heads. The last 3 times they played have been in the final. And 2 of those last 3 have been won by Tomokazu Harimoto. I'm wondering how much of a role that plays. The fire that we see from the Dark Knight is because he really wants to set the record straight and take it when it counts. This is, I mean, the biggest one was the World Tour Grand Finals in 2018, and since then, there hasn't been a final like that. So I think this would really make a statement for Lin Gaoyuan.
Yeah, both are looking here to end a title drought in a sense. Just building on the point you were making, Adam, Harimoto, winner, of course, of the star contender Doha back in March of last year. Oh, that is... Wow. That's devastating.
Can you imagine having to look back like that? He makes a forehand killer flick and just looks back almost over his shoulder as if to say, please don't come down.
Get a great view of that, the extension through and the belief growing here for Harimoto. Up to 3 now, the advantage.
Yeah, very compact, that backhand. Well in position there to cover the corners if he needs.
Oh, yeah, and he knows he'd set the point up there, the Japanese. Table was beckoning for that forehand.
Yeah, this is exactly what Harimoto needs to be doing right now, so you can understand the frustration because he did everything right until that final shot. He's doing an outstanding job of getting the pressure in very early. This is the recipe that really favors Harimoto. Oh, it's so smooth. A little bit bigger stroke than we see, but that's the risk he's taking.
This is the form he's shown through the week.
4-8.
Possibly his best period of play in the final so far from Harimoto. When he's like this, as we've seen this week, he's very tough to stop.
I've been thinking to myself, what can you possibly do to beat Lin Gaoyuan? But with those forehand flicks right now and everything else Harimoto's bringing, it's reciprocal. Even behind the table, flat hits, takes his chance, tries to keep the pressure on. Now, it's a lower percentage shot, but because it's a bit rushed, it catches Lin Gaoyuan before he's had a chance to recover if it comes down. Multiple apologies there, acknowledgement of the fortune from Harimoto. It's funny, in terms of personalities on the court versus off, Harimoto is the quietest guy.
You wouldn't know it when he's at the table. Total contrast.
Yeah. I mean, he's very gentle in real life. Anyone asks for a picture, I don't know if I've ever seen him turn someone down.
Quality from Lin. Is it going to be enough, though? Still 4 more game points. He has taken another game. He's on the comeback trail here. Tomokazu Harimoto still trailing, but now by just 3 games to 2. Patrick Francisca, of course, knocking out the biggest upset of the week in some ways, slaying the dragon, the greatest of all time, Ma Long. And it leaves the Dark Knight, Lin Gaoyuan, as the sole Chinese, of course, left here. Still in front, let's not forget, in this final with Harimoto.
You can see the frustration there from Harimoto because he made the right choice and had that come down, which he's capable of doing. It would have been his point.
3-0.
Winding up time and again. Lin here to take another point in the 6th game. He looks to put a stop to this Harimoto recovery efforts. 4 in a row to begin the 6th.
We saw a 1-7 comeback earlier today. So 0-4 against a player who's very strong won't be easy. But it's still the early part of this game, so it's exciting, and only 3 points between them now.
Apologises there, that one caught the tape on the way through, cross table, and they go to the towel break. With Harimoto cutting the gap further. What's going through Lin's mind here? He's still ahead in this 6th. We talked about it, no one's ever doubted his ability, but in his career, a question sometimes in the big moments, the mentality. He's got that chance to answer those questions here, but what about that?
This is the question that's been on a lot of people's minds since 2017. And throughout this event, Lin Gaoyuan hasn't left anything to question. But that last moment could be the crack in the windshield.
You refer to 2017. I mean, there have been some tough losses. Of course, he beat Timo Boll, but who can forget that match? Men's World Cup, for instance, where he had 6 match points on the German. In a few moments like that in his career, but that's a big point for Lin there to go back in front.
And not just 6 in a row. 10-4 in the decider, and if I remember correctly, he might have even been 3-1 up in games. completely takes the legs out, forcing Harimoto to try to create some space. I love it. When someone, and this is the nature of the Chinese fans, if you can say the name properly and you know the rhythm, you can get the Chinese fans behind you real quickly.
Oh, that's just come off the top.
6-5.
Of that racket there. Again, this is Harimoto, where he can cause anyone in the world problems with that receive.
It was a race to the deep backhand corner. As strong as the backhand is of Lin Gaoyuan, still he'd prefer to get the forehand in where he can. Oh, and then that happens.
That's the hardest hit, I think, that we've seen here on finals day.
That's the best possible advertisement for double fish. I mean, we don't know if that ball's cracked or not, but it seems like it survived at the point of contact. That is a strong ball for such a hammer to come through.
Yeah, not sure how it did still. He torched it.
Could have been sashimi. Could have been two separate fish at this point.
Oh, that deep push that's been variable for Lin, but it lands at the back of the table that time.
Yeah, just catching the edge. You can see it rushed Harimoto. If you're newer to the sport, they tend to apologize for that because it's not intentional and a bit of luck. Getting ever closer here, Lin Gaoyuan. Those toes starting to get near the finish line.
Well, he's just desperate to avoid a seventh here, isn't he, with Harimoto? What we've mentioned before, trying to finish this in 6. And he's so close to it now.
I mean, the last 2 games haven't even been close. It's been 11-6, 11-6 for Japan's Tomokazu Harimoto, but 5 championship points now for the Dark Knight.
Not there yet.
Very interesting, though. It is 1 point. It is a good point. But still a long way to go.
This time he goes, yeah, the timeout was about to say they've kept it. Yu Hung has kept it, and now the time to deliver it with those first 2 championship points having come and gone for Lin Gaoyuan. Yeah, tough to hear yourself in the Infinity Arena right now. Both sets of supporters trying to make their feelings known, trying to get their man over the line here. And Lin, of course, he's so close again, resuming with a 3rd championship point.
Now, one word that I did hear was practice. You have to imagine that's a reference to what they've been training in the training hall, saying, hey, remember, be confident. You have this weapon that you're very well practiced on.
Well, it's coming up now, isn't it, Adam, here, because he's got the service back here. You know, your opportunity here on a championship point to show that mental strength. Again, though, he doesn't manage it. Harimoto is drawing ever closer. That's 4 gone now.
He pulled out a serve we haven't seen from him. I haven't seen this entire event. It was a Hayata-like shovel serve.
Perhaps that was the discussion. 1 more championship point for Lin. No.
But on the other side of this right now, I mean, this comeback, if Harimoto comes into Game 7, if he can get there, he is not going to take that for granted. I mean, this is just an absolute hanging by a thread situation for the last several points.
He'll get another chance here. Of course, 2 clear points needed here. In this 6th to take it. And he'll have the service again. He's had 5 championship points already. Will the 6th be the one for Lin?
He's taking his chances. Harimoto, for a few points now, has saved championship points by using that backhand at all costs. If it means leaving the back door open, well, he's got to step out on the porch for that aggressive shot.
And now fast and deep. We've been focusing a lot here. I think, Adam, you're doing a great job looking at both sides of it, because we focus naturally on Lin and his inability so far to close. But you've got to say, Harimoto here, under the biggest pressure, is stepping up. Game point now, and let service called. Remember, he's saved a small matter of 6 championship points so far. I mean, what must be going through Lin's mind? Oh, would you believe it? Tomokazu Harimoto saves 6 championship points, and he's come all the way back here to take this final with Lin Gaoyuan into a deciding 7th game here in Budapest. And what's been an amazing week here of elite competition here in Budapest, this inaugural WTT Champions event. It has not disappointed, and perhaps it's fitting that the final match should go the distance. The start here, the first few points, so important for both, but you feel particularly for the Dark Knight, for Lin Gaoyuan, after what happened in the 6th with those 6 championship points.
It's obviously been quite a bright career for Lin Gaoyuan, but he's had more dark times than probably anyone we've seen on the men's side of the Chinese national team, which adds to that feel that we feel for him. For me, the battle is yourself. It's your own head. After game number 6, and so far he's doing wonderfully, Lin Gaoyuan, to clear everything.
Falls victim there, though, to a receive of the highest quality from Harimoto.
And that receive game has been the devastating factor. The backhand inside the table, we haven't seen a lot of it over the last year or two.
Oh, straight through.
How wide does a serve have to be to avoid the backhand of Harimoto? You just saw. He would have gone for backhand if he could have. Take another look at how wide this serve is. Starts to go backhand, says, yeah, maybe not. Could have gone around the net. Would have been a risky shot, but he tried it earlier in this event.
Oh, what an angle that he's found there. And of course now, with Lin having reached the 5-point marker, they will switch ends in the 7th.
Bit of surprise factor. We saw the acknowledgement for the fortune. Could have been the edge of the racket. Harimoto saying, what can I do? Changes the sound. It's tough to know exactly how the ball's going to bounce or how much spin is on it when it hits the edge of the racket. He really never let go of control in this point. Had Harimoto pinned in the middle, backing him off the table. It's more reactionary from here on out. Harimoto looking for that chance to try and come in. You could see just that hesitation in the middle, could never really turn for a big shot.
Absolutely. And they're giving it, both of them are giving it everything here to the finish, as you'd expect. But it's Lin here now with a lead of 5.
These shots, you can see how low and fast they are from the backhand. And on the forehand, finally a bit of hook on it. A little side spin with the top.
Well, you're not counting Harimoto out yet here, of course. He's saved 6 championship points already. He's come from 3 down. And he's trying to mount one more thrilling fight back here in the 7th. No one's moving. Couple back quickly for the Japanese. Yeah. Whoa. That's got to be going through his mind right now, Lin.
That one right there. I mean, it really was an open point for the taking in this rally. Harimoto had a good swing. He got his opponent behind the table. Little shallow ball there. There's that move. Please make that compilation.
I'm sure your request will be answered, Adam.
谢谢你们.
Oh, that flick that's delivered so many times for Harimoto doesn't there, and Lin is getting very close now again. Are those Chinese supporters going to be filled with happiness here? He can take these remaining couple of points.
5-9.
There was a dangerous string of points there where Harimoto wasn't able to get in on the receive, where Lin Gaoyuan was really good about handcuffing. And just to dial it up a bit to keep him from getting aggressive, that's impressive.
6-9.
No flick delivered by Lin that time.
As we know, anything's possible in the Infinity Arena. The scores now to remember for me, 5-9. Any other major moments here, scores that stand out to you in this game?
I'd even go further there, 4-9 back from it. And he's still on the comeback. That's 3 in a row now. Lin back with the service, but this is not done yet. Oh, he's only human. I mean, when they're out there, you wonder at times what we've seen this week, whether these guys, these elite athletes are superhuman. But Lin right now, what's going through his head? Still 2 away.
The patience from Harimoto to stay in the backhand corner, a player whose backhand receive is so dominant. It's a game of rock, paper, scissors here. You don't want to decide too early, and that's exactly what Harimoto does. He waits just in case that serve comes in and handles it perfectly.
(9-4) he led, but Harimoto is back again. 5 in a row. He's 2 away as well now.
And while he celebrates this point, he cannot internally celebrate too much because it is not over. If he gets ahead of himself, it would be the most heartbreaking loss after that comeback for Harimoto. But 6 of the last 8 points to the trailing Japanese player who's been in the mind of this man here for some time.
With the service as well. And straight through.
10-9.
What a moment to produce that. Lin looks devastated. This is the drama that world table tennis provides. And on this biggest stage, Harimoto has championship point. The comeback is complete. Unbelievable. Tomokazu Harimoto wins the WTT Champions European Summer Series. He saves 6 championship points to do it along the way. One of the best fight backs you're ever likely to see off the dark night and triumph here in Budapest.
That was unfreaking believable. I mean, for a player who was the talk of the world for years, and have you ever seen him celebrate the way he just has after a match?
We've talked about the intensity in his eyes this week on our social media coverage everywhere with Harimoto, and he needed it all there.